Thank you for the honor by calling me a doctor, but I'm not. You know, sometimes I tell people I'm still a cop in a suit. You know, but in this situation, what I do more now is to look at compliance with the DEA regulations and the issues that DEA is dealing with registrants in today's arena. So let me go through this. Let me do my disclaimer. First of all, I don't speak on behalf of DEA. I don't represent DEA. I suggest you read the federal laws and regulations mentioned. And if you haven't been to this website yet, www.deadovern.usdoj.gov, I would tell you to, you go into it and look at that site. It's very informative, a lot of information in there. So, again, like Charles was saying, here's my information with regards to my past history. I started doing consulting in January 31st of 2009 when I retired from DEA diversion. And I also had 24 years with the Philadelphia Police Department. The last 10 years I was assigned to DEA Task Force here in Philadelphia. So these are the learning objectives. And some of these slides, I'm going to go through them because I have a lot of information. I know I'm going to go over one hour, maybe might go into an hour and 15 minutes. So I just want everybody to get as much knowledge out of this presentation. So here's the learning objectives that we're going to go through. And we'll start off with, I know most of you might know about this, but DEA's role is to prevent, detect, investigate diversion of pharmaceuticals, drugs, and at the same time making sure that there's adequate supply for legitimate medical and scientific purposes. Today's DEA diversion is really two areas. One is the group, the Tactical Diversion Squad, or TDS, and their role is to enforce the federal laws and regulations through criminal investigations. The other side of it is the on-site audit and inspection of controlled substances, and most of those result in no action, or if there is some kind of action, it will probably be administrative or civil action, depending on the allegations. So here's the answer to a sleepless night. You get up 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep, go on this website. 45 minutes later, you'll be so relaxed, you're ready to go back to bed. But there's so much information, but it's so dry that sometimes, I'll wake up about that time and thinking about going to a client's facility the next morning. And if there's one or two questions that I have, I go into it. And I also pick up what's the latest news, what's new in DEA, and it's there right in the middle. It says what's new, and if you go down the bottom of that section and click more, you'll see more other actions that have been taken by DEA. So you really want to know what's the latest on DEA, and also there's a lot of information with regards to quota approvals and so forth in there. And you have the regulations also, the Title 21, the Code of Federal Regulations, and the Controlled Substance Act is also in there under Info and Legal Resources. So again, it's, DEAdiversion.usdoj, which stands for United States Department of Justice.gov. All right, actions by DEA, and like I said, criminal, civil actions through the U.S. Attorney's Office, administrative action. Or when they can't establish a case, they will forward it to the state regulatory agencies, whether it be the Board of Medicine or the Board of Pharmacy, with the allegations that they had in their initial investigation. Again, the administrative actions can be taken. A letter of admonition, which is a letter for minor violations saying this is the violations we found. You got 30 days to respond to that letter. And I strongly suggest you contact your corporate counsel or legal counsel before you submit the letter. Make sure they read the letter and the respond that you're sending to the letter. When the violation is a little more serious, you may wind up with a memorandum of understanding or a memorandum of agreement, which is between the registrant and DEA and the government, federal government, saying that you're going to comply by the regulations. If you do have one of these memorandum understandings, issued to you, I strongly suggest that you keep yourself on your toes, because sooner or later they're going to come back again and do that unannounced inspection. Again, the next action is the voluntary surrender of registration. Under no circumstance, I am saying to you, under no circumstance will your facility ever surrender a license. And I don't care, what happened without the facility or the corporate personnel contacting legal counsel or their corporate counsel. And the best bet sometimes in that type of situation is not to say nothing and let the attorneys do the talking. Then you have the immediate suspension. If the violation is so serious, they will have enough probable cause to go and get an immediate suspension. The other thing is the revocation of a registration. Ultimately, if you go to an order of show cause and the administrative law judge rules against the registrant, the administrator most likely will revoke your registration. But the next step there is to go into the district courts, the federal district court, and appeal that ruling. So, hold on 1 second. Forgive me for I forgot to mute my phone. Okay, focus the DEA inspection is a record keeping, security, and due diligence. It's more due diligence today, especially with the issues that occurred in Florida, especially for distributors and manufacturers. The record keeping and security are important, because if they go in on due diligence and they're not really happy with what you gave them, but there's not enough for them to take an action against your license, they're going to go into your record keeping and security. So, in the civil actions, let's talk about that. That's Title 21. If you go into the DEA diversion website and key in Section 842, and you'll see it. Basically, it says it's unlawful and shall be unlawful for any person. And then the sections that apply to record keeping are Section 5 and Section 10. Basically, Section 5 says to refuse or negligently fail to make, keep, or furnish any report, notification, declaration, order or order form, statement, invoice, or information requiring the subchapter or subchapter 2 of this chapter. Say that 3 times, 10 times. Then the other Section 2 is Section 10, failing to keep a record, period.